Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where today, as I said I would do the other day, we are talking about Alejandro Garnacho and specifically his performance at the weekend against Lens, still not too sure how you say it. But I think we need to talk about his performance in that particular game, his final game before the season starts, because I think most people were of the consensus that he was probably the best player on the pitch, and even if he weren't the best player on the pitch, he was certainly the most dangerous, the most threatening, because what Garnacho is quickly, and I mean really quickly becoming, is a player who gets you off your seat every single time that he gets the ball. Every time he gets the ball at Old Trafford, you can feel it. Literally, the fans kind of rise to their feet, the volume in the stadium goes up every time he gets the ball. And that is because he's becoming such an exciting player on the ball. Someone who is incredibly direct, looking to get the ball forward, take men on, get into the final third and either create a chance for someone else or take a shot at goal. And he really showed that in this particular game. As we said the other day, the opposition were in what was often a 3-4-3 shape like this. And what Garnacho provided throughout this game was an out ball. That was his real strengths in this game. Whether it be Fernandes deep in this position, Dalot, Rashford, whoever it might have been on the right hand side. The ball out to Garnacho on the other side was on literally all day long. We're going to talk about and go through some clips from the game to really prove that. But in general, just quickly before we get into that, just on Garnacho, I think it's important to kind of highlight a couple of his strengths which he proved. Not only did he show his ability to be an out ball, not only did he show his willingness to drive forward with the ball and take players on, but what I also thought we saw in this game was maturity. We saw him defensively putting in a good shift. He was tracking back, helping his fullback out, preventing Luke Shaw from getting doubled up on in certain situations. He put a couple of tackles in, but all round, he had a more mature performance. Even physically, he looked a bit more mature. He looked a bit more like he could handle himself against some quite physical players. He was going into these 50-50 duels, shoulder to shoulder, and often either keeping the ball or winning the free kick for his side. This was a really mature performance. Last season, it did feel very much like a youth player kind of getting thrown on for the last 20 minutes, go make an impact, and he was doing that very well. But what we saw at the weekend was his ability to do that from the start. And it is somewhat reflected in his numbers here. We can see he played 68 minutes, 27 touches, 16 out of 18 passes, which is good retention, 2 key passes showing his creativity, 3 shots blocked and a shot off target, showing how effective he is at getting into the final third and again, just trying to make something happen, and I was really impressed with the way which he took the ball forward.
So I just quickly wanted to take a break away from the main camera to talk to you guys about today's video sponsor, the Football Shirt Club. And the reason I want to talk about them is because today they have sent me this beautiful mystery box for me to try out for myself. You can see this lovely purple packaging, really good quality. So today we're going to open it up and we're going to see what we get inside. So we've turned the camera, let's see what we are going to get inside. If you want to check them out, the link will be in the description down below to get one for yourself. But drumroll please, let's have a look at what we're going to get. Oh, it's very nice indeed. I'm seeing a PSV badge straight away, but also a couple of bonus gifts. We have a little information card. You guys can pause it if you want to read through that. I'll be reading through it later. We've also got some playing cards. Marcus Rashford feels very fitting for the channel. Got some different playing cards there though. Really high quality. They feel very nice. But then, the most important thing, the Piece à la Résistance, the PSV shirt. The 21-22 away kit. I need to try this on and show you guys. So I have to say I'm really pleased with it. The PSV badge on the kit is very nice indeed. If you want to get your own mystery box, check out the Football Shirt Club using the link in the description down below. And also, if you use code AJ10 at checkout, you will get yourself a nice little discount.
But like I said, the big thing was that he was an out ball. And I'll move to the bottom right for this down here. We saw this time and time again during the game. So on this occasion, Manchester United have the ball kind of deep in a right back area. The ball is pinged on a long diagonal pass out to Alejandro Garnacho. We're going to look at these clips using Once Video Analyzer Pro, a really good video analysis software which you guys can check out using the link in the description down below. I use it all the time, literally all the time, so I really do recommend it. But what it's going to allow us to do here is look at Garnacho's effect. We can see here he is just being a runner. He doesn't have the ball in this situation. The ball's going to come over the top. But initially we can see his pace and his willingness to run, get into forward areas to even get on the end of this ball. A lot of players wouldn't have really made it. Someone like Sancho, a little bit slower, probably doesn't even get on the end of this ball, but Garnacho does. His first thought once he gets the ball is, can I get in the box? Can I get on my man? Can I hurt the defence? And that's such a positive thing to have. When you have a player, if we go to the tactics board, when you have a player who every time they get the ball, they go, try and tackle me, and draw someone out, it always creates room for someone else, and that's what Garnacho does so brilliantly. And I think what we're going to see as he improves and gets even better is teams will probably start putting 2 players on him because he is so good. And again, that just creates more room for someone else. It's why having a profile like Garnacho who can do these things is so important and so beneficial in a squad like Manchester United. Now on this occasion he gets the shot off and it is blocked, but we can see his attacking intent. He's being nice and direct, he's being the outball for this team. We've got another situation here. On this occasion, Bruno Fernandes plays an absolutely ridiculous ball on the switch. But who's the pass to? It's a pass to Garnacho, who is once again a willing runner, attacking the space. He is the outball. This isn't picking the ball up around the halfway line and driving forward and beating 4 or 5 players. It's just being a willing runner off the ball. It's a good timing of movement, it's good reading of the game, but also the physical attributes and the technical attributes to get on the end of the ball and every time try and make something happen. Once again, his first thought is, can I be direct? Can I get in the box and make something happen? And on this occasion, he has really good final product as well. Cutting the ball back to Mason Mount, who, we won't talk about that. But we can see what Garnacho is doing once again. Here's yet another situation. Manchester United are playing in a transition. The ball is coming from the right-hand side. The ball is picked up in the middle of the park here and pinged on a long ball out to Manchester United's left wing. Now, once again, no surprise, it is Alejandro Garnacho taking up this position. But once again, what we can see is that his first thought, and even literally his first touch as he receives the ball, is getting the ball out in front of him, allowing him to quickly run at his man. If we see this defender here, Garnacho's first thought is he can see the amount of space behind the defender. So if I can beat this defender, I'm going to get myself into a lot of space. And that is such a good trait for a player to have. And it's such a confidence level really for such a young footballer. But mentally, we're seeing attributes in Garnacho which look really exciting. And like I said earlier on in the video, this is why he gets fans excited, because he just takes players on. Here we can see he's doubled up on, but that doesn't really slow him down. He still takes both players on. On this occasion he cuts inside, and once again has good final product, playing the ball across the box. And once again on this occasion it was Mason Mount getting onto the ball. It was a difficult finish which was blocked and turned behind for a corner. But again, it all came about because of Garnacho's ability to initially be the runner, but then also to pick the final pass, to quality and the composure, to see in a crowded box, pick out a player which he wants to pass to. Mason Mount here is going to kind of step onto it. It's really good play from Garnacho once again. And like I said, this was a theme throughout the game. This one is particularly good though. The technical ability on this one is so good. The ball's going to be played from the right wing towards Garnacho. His first touch here is exemplary. Most people would take this touch in between the 2 defenders here. Garnacho takes this weird touch which kind of allows him to then shift his body and completely manipulate the defender and then attack the open space. It works so well. I don't know if I can quickly show it for you here. The way he does that is so good, and now you can see the open space which he is going to run into, and once again, surprise surprise, he does exactly that. He has the chance to go forward, he takes that chance to go forward. He just keeps taking players on, gets all the way into the box, and in the end the finish on this one was rather poor. He's probably a little bit disappointed with the finish. You could kind of see his frustration after he had missed. But again, he's just being so direct for Manchester United. And we'll look at one more example of it. This one led up to a goal. This is really good. Rashford initially with the good play, kind of dropping in as almost a false 9 on this situation. But Garnacho is going to pick the ball up in a really deep area, have a very good touch to get past the defender, a good burst of pace, and he just keeps going. He just keeps going all the way up the pitch, and then he makes a really good decision. Marcus Rashford makes a good run, kind of dragging the defenders. He spots Antony on the far side. The quality of pass from Garnacho is very good. Antony steps through on goal and puts it into the back of the net to score for Manchester United. But again, it's all becoming because of Garnacho. He is the one who is making something happen. Now, when we look at this Manchester United team, there are players that at times get a bit of criticism for this. Someone like Jadon Sancho, for example, is criticised for being a bit too, probably safe is the best word, a bit too safe on the ball. Someone like Antony doesn't really take his man on. Marcus Rashford at times in the past in his career has been a little bit criticised for this. Garnacho is just so fresh to watch, basically. Perhaps it's naivety. Perhaps it's the ignorance of being a young player. He doesn't really take into consideration some of the problems, maybe. Or maybe it is just a pure confidence in his own ability, knowing that he can go up against most defenders and toast them and just beat them, and he is such a good outball, and that is why he could be very, very useful for Ten Hag this season. However, I still don't think it is that straightforward for Erik Ten Hag. Most people have watched that performance and gone, okay, Garnacho needs to start this season, maybe Marcus Rashford up front. However, there was one thing which kind of maybe has gone under the radar a little bit. Garnacho had a very good performance, a very, very good performance. But what we have to consider is that every single one of those chances which we just looked at was in transition, when there is space to attack. Now, fortunately for Garnacho, we know that Ten Hag wants this Manchester United team to be the best transitioning team in the world. So there are certainly games where this will really suit Garnacho. He can attack the space like he did in this game. However, there are some teams in the Premier League, in the Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, whatever competition. Some teams will sit a little bit deeper, put men behind the ball. This is where, currently, of course it's still very early days for Garnacho, I have a few more question marks. When people and when teams are getting lots of men behind the ball, making it tight and compact at the back, can Garnacho be as impactful in those situations? Now, to be fair, I think we saw glimpses of it last season where he was coming on in games like this and making a difference, taking players on, once again getting into the final third. But of course it is naturally more difficult for him in these situations. I believe we do have a situation or an example of it here. We do. We can see this time there are so many more players back behind the ball. Now, this of course makes things much more difficult. There's far less space to attack. Despite that, once again, Garnacho is going to play on the front foot. He's going to take his men on, he throws in a step over, nice bit of skill, buys himself half a yard, comes inside the pitch and plays the ball to Bruno Fernandes. The problem is in these areas, at this moment in time, Garnacho isn't quite as crisp on the ball with his passing and with his link play. Now, statistically this is a completed pass, but this was a very difficult pass for Bruno Fernandes to control because Garnacho, he just got the weight of pass wrong really. He overhits the pass and it's a little bit difficult for Bruno Fernandes to control. Now, of course that's nothing to worry about. Every player overhits or underhits or plays the wrong pass at times. Of course they do. It happens to literally everyone. But just in terms of moving forward, it's probably something which he needs to polish up on a little bit in terms of if he wants to become a regular starter. But that's okay, he is still so young. And this performance was absolutely brilliant. I still think early on in the season, especially when Rasmus Højlund is fit and available, I do think Garnacho will still be used as mostly an impact substitution. But I tell you what an impact player to have from the bench because he is such a bright young spark. And genuinely, he's got the world at his feet. He could become such a good young footballer. But I just wanted to talk about this particular performance because I thought he was the best player on the pitch, which was impressive in a very strong United team. So those are my thoughts on his performance. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Let me know what you think his best strengths are, certain things he needs to work on. And let me know whether or not you think he's going to break straight into the first 11 this season, or if he needs still a bit more time as an impact sub. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But apart from that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.